It is with righteousness that you will bring the fury of the divine through your many myriad abilities. Hello everyone, and welcome back down here to the Gamer's Den with me, your host, Jordan, your master of lore and storyteller extraordinaire, here to talk to you about the first edition Pathfinder Paladin and their class abilities. There's a lot to cover here today, so we'll try to fly through it, but before we get into all of that, if you're new here to the channel, go on down there, hit that subscribe button, and become a regular member here at the Gamer's Den. Or, if you've already gone on ahead and listed yourself on such an incredible roster of legendary heroes, then go on down to hit the like button and share the video far and wide. But now, let's start talking about the Paladin and their abilities. There is something to note though. Part of being a Paladin, at least with the rules as written, is that you have to either be lawful good or end up going chaotic evil to become a blackguard, the chaotic evil variant of the Paladin. I'd say drop this, both for players and DMs alike. Just drop this entirely. It's not a very good restriction. It's very limiting because so many other faiths and religions would have their own versions of divine warriors, and that's what I would open things up to. I would say that for you DMs out there, the requirements to be a paladin is that they should have their alignment at least in one step of their chosen deity, and that they have to adhere to certain tenets and strictures. What those might be, homebrew those up and work with your players, but otherwise reflavor all of their abilities to match and be in line with all the different alignment requirements. So Smite evil could become Smite good, or if there's a neutral variation, you can have them select what kind of smite that they want to utilize. There's a lot of ways that you could go about this, but now let's actually start talking about the class abilities themselves. And to start with, when you become a paladin, you become proficient with light, medium, heavy armor, and shields. You're also proficient with simple and martial weapons. You have a D10 for your hit points. You get 2 skill ranks plus your intelligence modifier each level, and you have great fortitude and will saves, but weak reflex saves overall. And altogether here, this makes you a pretty reasonably tanky frontline melee character. At first level, you will also get an aura of good. You put off an aura of good equal to your class level. Read up on detect evil. Essentially, that's what you'll register as for those looking to detect alignments overall. Incidentally, you also gain detect evil at first level as a class ability. You use Detect Evil at will. Focus on a target within 60 feet to gain information as if you'd focused on them for 3 rounds. So this gives you that whole list of information on the target. You will also gain Smite Evil at first level. This is usable 1 time a day plus 1 additional use every 3 levels that you go up, and this is usable as a swift action. You smite the target. If they're evil, you add your charisma modifier to attack rolls and your paladin level to damage rolls. If the target is an evil outsider, dragon, or undead, the bonus to damage on the first successful attack is 2 per level. Regardless, the damage bypasses any damage reduction. You also gain a deflection bonus equal to your charisma modifier against the target, hence why we want to go with as good of a charisma score as we have. This charisma ends up being a very good workhorse for us. But then we go on from there at second level to where we pick up Divine Grace, where you also gain your charisma modifier on all of your saves, so even your weak reflex save is going to get a significant boost. Then also at second level, you gain Lay on Hands, usable a number of times per day equal to 1/2 your level plus your charisma modifier. So you heal 1d6 points of damage every 2 levels as a swift action to a target you touch. Or you deal the same damage to undead with no saving throw. So your Lay on Hands, the healing, you're channeling divine energy, so you will deal damage to the undead. And the fact that they get no saving throw is pretty nice, so overall you're probably better off just using Smite. Then for third level, you pick up Divine Health, where you become immune to all disease, even magical diseases like mummy rot. Now, diseases are not always the most terrifying thing ever, But things like mummy rot are particularly damaging, and any diseases that might render you blind or give you significant penalties, this is a great way to just nix that early on, and this is typically before a lot of diseases become relevant. Then also for 3rd level, you will get Aura of Courage. You become immune to fear, and you give allies within 10 feet a +4 morale bonus versus fear effects. This is fantastic. I mean, giving that +4 bonus to will saves, especially if you're teaming up with characters that are fighters, for example. This will help to boost their will saves all the way around. Also at 3rd level and 6th, 9th, and 12th, we pick up Mercies. From here, every 3 levels after, you will get to select a Mercy to apply to your Lay on Hands ability. Now, there are a lot of different Mercies to pick up, but I've gone over which ones are going to be the best options here. Overall, the most likely to be readily used. At 3rd level, you want to take the ability to remove either the Shaken debuff or Sickened. These effects can come up pretty frequently and will be worth being able to remove when you heal a target. This makes your healing ability much more useful, definitely more useful than Cure Light Wounds, because you're removing debuffs as well. At 6th level, you either want to take Diseased or Haunted, removing these effects from the targets that you use Lay on Hands on. Then, at 9th level, you're going to pick up either Cursed or Poisoned. Poisoned might happen much more frequently than Cursed, but when Cursed does happen, it hits really hard. Then for 12th level, you either want to take Blinded, Paralyzed, or Stunned. Any of these is pretty awful. Probably Blinded is going to be the most common, but I would say Stunned or Paralyzed are definitely worthy choices as well. Then for 4th level, you get the ability to channel positive energy as a cleric, using your level as the effective cleric level for the ability. However, this does use up 2 of your Lay on Hands charges, so definitely something to weigh out there, but still a very useful ability to have. Then for 5th level, we pick up Divine Bond. You form a bond with your god to either enhance your weapon for 1 minute a level with a +1 enhancement bonus, gaining another +1 every 3 levels after for a max of a +6. This can stack with weapons' existing bonuses to a max of +5, or can add the following effects: Axiomatic, Brilliant Energy, Defending, Disruption, Flaming, Flaming Burst, Holy, Keen, Merciful, and Speed. This is usable 1 time a day +1 for every 4 levels. This is pretty great because this opens up a lot of flexibility in the different enhancements you might be putting on your weapon. You're not necessarily locked into having to select one specific thing, especially as you advance and gain better and better equipment overall with better enhancement bonuses. But our other option for Divine Bond is to take a mount. Usually a heavy horse or a pony if the paladin is medium or small, and bonded mounts will automatically have an intelligence score of 6. Something to note is that paladins may select other unusual animal choices per their DM's discretion, and this is opened up a little bit as the list specifically states that there are more options possible than what are listed. Now, for once a day as a full round action, the Paladin may magically call their mount, usable once a day +1 every 4 levels. At 11th level, the mount gains the Celestial Creature template and becomes a magical beast. At 15th level, it gains a spell resistance of 11 plus your Paladin level. This is really great as well. I mean, being able to have access to this kind of a mount is awesome, and the fact that it gains the Celestial Creature template also really helps you out, making this a very effective companion to throw into the midst of a fight overall. Then at 8th level, we pick up Aura of Resolve. You become immune to charm spells and spell-like abilities. Each ally within 10 feet gains a +4 morale bonus against charm effects. Again, really great. You have a great will save, especially with your charisma modifier in there, but just becoming outright immune is fantastic. Then at 11th level, you gain the Aura of Justice. Uses 2 uses of your Smite Evil ability to grant Smite Evil to allies within 10 feet of you. They must use this by the start of the Paladin's next turn, and the bonuses will last for 1 minute overall. Again, this is really good, especially if you have at least 2 allies within range that are able to be affected by this. Namely, say, a mount, a rogue who might be flanking, or any summoned creatures that might be around you. There are lots of different options here, and if they all have the Smite Evil ability on them, that makes the 2 uses expended in this endeavor all the well worth it. You want to time it right, but still, massive bonuses to apply. Then at 14th level, we gain Aura of Faith. Your weapons count as good aligned for overcoming damage reduction. Any attack against enemies within 10 feet of you are treated as good aligned as well. Again, another instance where if this is timed right and you're positioned well with your allies, you can grant significant bonuses that will help overcome damage reduction. Again, really great. You're an effective fighting character, and you're a great support character as well. Then at 17th level, you will gain Aura of Righteousness, gaining a damage reduction of 5 versus evil creatures, and immunity to compulsion spells and effects. Allies within 10 feet will gain a +4 morale bonus on saves versus these effects. Now, that damage reduction is great in a lot of instances, but the problem with it is you are going to be fighting evil aligned creatures whose attacks count as evil aligned. You're a paladin. You should be fighting evil aligned creatures to begin with. Your bonuses against them are immeasurable, but your primary opponents, your most frequently sought after opponents, will be overcoming this, rendering it sort of useless. But the immunity to compulsion spells and effects still makes this a worthwhile ability. Then at 20th level, we arrive at our capstone where we gained Holy Champion. Your damage reduction becomes damage reduction 10 versus evil, and when you use Smite Evil and strike an evil outsider, they are also affected by banishment, using your Paladin level as the effective caster level. After the banishment and damage are resolved, the smite ends. Lay on Hands heals the maximum amount possible, so no more rolling the dice. You just look at what the dice total is and then declare what the maximum result is there. This makes it incredibly fantastic, especially since we have so many debuffs that we're getting rid of. However, this ability still is not that great because you have Banishment, which automatically makes your smite end, whether or not it's successful. And this really actually kind of sucks. It tanks your combat effectiveness all the way around, and you're better off selecting either having your DM homebrew the ability or selecting an alternate capstone ability. Certainly there are those out there. Just talk with your DM and see what you can do to change this up. I would definitely recommend that you do so. This is pretty terrible. The only thing that makes this any kind of good is the fact that your Lay on Hands gets to heal the max amount possible. That's pretty great. And, you know, the damage reduction being up to a 10, also not bad, but again, your primary opponents are going to be evil. So that definitely changes things a bit. But what do you think? Go on down to the comments below and let me know your thoughts. Did you like today's video? Did you dislike it? Let me know either way, hitting those like or dislike buttons, and leave your comments and the thoughts down below so that we can engage in discussion. And remember, if you're new here to the channel, go on down there, hit that subscribe button, and become a regular member. But with all that said, I've been your host, Jordan, your Master of Lore and Storyteller Extraordinaire. Thank you all so very much for your time, and you all have yourselves a good night.